Let's go ahead and look at how you can find Western regional or tri-state data through the usage of the University of Idaho's potato Medius.Re license. So the first thing that we can do is we can search for a variety. So we're here at the dashboard and I'm going to go to find variety. I'm going to type in Clearwater because I want to find the Clearwater russet. I could have typed in its original breeder number. That would have found it as well, and then you'll see the pedigree information. Go ahead and select that variety and we'll see all of that information here available to me, but it'll also show me all of the trial groups. So these are the groupings of trials that achieve a certain objective. So you can see the University of Idaho through ARS, there's a russet, it's in the russet trial, it's also in U of I's russet trial. Then you have Colorado State data available for you, as well as Oregon State data available for this particular variety. And then you can see all the different locations where it was trialed in, and then our available trial years. Second tab is going to show me any pedigree information that's available. So you can see we just have the first order of pedigree, and then all of our trial data. So here in the first tab, we have the russet data for ARS. So you can scroll down through and see all that high-level data. Again, like you can in other licenses, if you want to view the breakdown of that, you just click on the value. It'll pull up that little dialog and you can scroll down to see the breakdown of that value. But then you can also see that this variety was trialed at the University of Idaho, and you can see that data. You also see Colorado State has data available for this particular variety, as well as Oregon State. So this is really handy to be able to find information about a variety across multiple programs without having to jump to each one of those programs to find all of that data for them. And then if there were any images or documents, much like with Potatoes USA, they would show up here, but we don't have any currently set up. So just like you can in any other license, you have the ability here to copy a link and share this with somebody. If you want to pass this information along, you can export that as an image as well. Let's go ahead and look at analytics now and how this will function there. So I'm going to start with USDA ARS, and we're going to go russet and then analytics. And let's go ahead and select some data fields that we're interested in. So let's go with total yield. We're going to do yield percentage, less than 4 ounce, 4 to 6, 6 to 10, greater than 10. Let's go with specific gravity, and then we'll look at hollow heart. Then over here in my trial blocks, we currently have them all selected. Let's go ahead and rebuild that analytics. And now what we see here is grouped by our trial blocks. So these are each one of those trial types in the case of Idaho. So you've got preliminary yield and the tri-state stuff, Western regional, etc. All of that information, each one of those data fields that we selected, plus if there's multiple years available, which there will be coming up once the rest of that data is entered, you would have those values here, same as what you're used to using in all of the other licenses. But let's say, for example, that we're just interested in looking at some tri-state data. So I could come here into trial blocks, and I'm going to uncheck all of the other ones, and we're just going to go with the tri-state regional early, tri-state regional late. Go ahead and rebuild that, and you'll see I just have those two tabs now. But let's add in Oregon data so that we can see how all of these varieties performed in Oregon for the tri-state program. So I'm going to come here to select third-party data and click on shared trial groups, and I'm going to select OSU potato and the OSU R, which is the russets. And then I'm going to come down and make sure that I have the right trial blocks selected. So I'm interested in the tri-state one. I don't care about the state or the regional here momentarily. So we're just going to select the Hermiston tri-state and then rebuild our analytics. So now you'll see we have the tri-state early for Aberdeen, the tri-state late for Aberdeen, and then we have Hermiston late for tri-state out of Oregon State. And so what we're seeing here is we've got the total yield was ported over, specific gravity, and hollow heart. These were the data fields that lined up with what ARS in Idaho is collecting. So you'll see those are automatically pulled in for us. Okay, so I'm going to come up here to group data by, and we're going to change, instead of trial blocks, we're going to change this to data fields. And then you'll see here now it'll put the data fields at the top. So I have my total yield and all those other breakdowns at the top. And then each one of my columns is a location. So I have my tri-state early and late for Aberdeen, and then my tri-state late for Oregon State. So you can see how they all kind of line up here. And if I have multi-year averages, you can see those here as well, the Y value and the L value. So we'll go ahead and sort by our total, greatest total. And this is combining now a 3-year average across both Aberdeen and Oregon State's Columbia River Basin, Tri-State, Hermiston trial. So I'm just going to select these top ones here, which happen to be, there's a couple, 3 here, and then a couple of these checks. So I've got these 5 selected, and now I'm going to do a comparison of these. So I'm going to click here on Compare. So the first thing you're going to see in Compare is that I have those 5 varieties selected and all of the data associated with them specific to the trial program that I've selected. So USDA, ARS, Russet. But if I want to pull in other information, I can come here to Trial Blocks and say Show Third-Party Data. I'll go ahead and turn that on, and you'll notice that OSU shows up here now as that existed in 2022 that I'm looking at. So now I have all my OSU Oregon State data. So this is helpful when you're doing a comparison. You can look at, okay, how did all of these varieties perform side by side in Idaho? How did they perform in Oregon? But if you wanted to pull all of those in and have them function side by side with each other, we can turn on Merge Third-Party Data. And what Merge Third-Party Data is going to do is it's going to say, okay, I'm going to take all of my non-Idaho, because that's the current license that I'm looking at. I'm going to take all that non-Idaho data, and I'm going to transform it so that it lines up with the way that Idaho is trying to view it. So if there are data fields that correlate and match, it will pull those in all together and then show it to me in an Idaho view. So you can see here that I've selected ARS Russet, but I can see that I have those 2 ARS locations, plus I have the Oregon State location in here as well. And now I have 3 variety records because they've been merged together instead of the 2. And so I can come down here and I can expand these out just like I would have if they were all a part of my trial program. And I now see what that would look like if I brought in all of that data together and then did a side-by-side comparison. And we still do have correlated data turned on. So all of these varieties existed in the same trials. So that's helpful even across programs. That way you can still have your correlated comparison. So that's a quick overview of how you can utilize Medius.Re to pull in data specific to a single variety, multiple varieties across multiple programs, as long as those programs have a collaborative relationship with each other.